Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update, second stimulus check update, and stimulus package update for Wednesday, August 19th. The stimulus package negotiations are going slowly, it seems like, but let's talk about all the negotiations that are going on and all the latest news on the stimulus checks. For those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits, you will be eligible for the second stimulus check as long as they can come to a deal and get it passed. Until the House and the Senate can come to a deal on this next stimulus package, everyone will have to continue to wait on the next stimulus check. For those subscribed members of my community, welcome back. Thank you once again for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe right now and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And if you find this content in this video helpful, please be sure to like this video so that YouTube will share it with others. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi called the House of Representatives back into session this week to discuss a bill that would give funding to the United States Postal Service and stop organizational changes that were being made. Although that's happening, the stimulus check talks have stalled. The United States Postal Service funding has been one of the latest sticking points in the negotiations for the next stimulus package. However, recently President Trump and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows have both said that the Trump administration is on board with stimulus money to go to the United States Postal Service to avoid financial problems that they've been having. This should not be an issue going forward in the negotiations of the next stimulus package. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy backed down yesterday on some organizational changes that were planned to help the financial problems of the Postal Service because the House and others were complaining that these organizational changes were going to cause problems for the upcoming election. Some of these changes that would have been put in place by the Postal Service would have changed hours of operation at post office locations. There would have been updates to mail processing equipment, and some of these changes would have closed some mail processing facilities as well. None of those changes will be happening now, but Nancy Pelosi still wants to put in place a bill that will stop these changes permanently. Let me know in the comment section below, do you think that the post office should be such a huge part of the next stimulus package? It does sound like both sides are planning on including funding for the post office in the next stimulus package, so it really shouldn't be an issue, but it does sound like it's been one of the major sticking points up until this point. Let me know in the comment section if you think it should be a huge part of the next stimulus bill. This week, a smaller stimulus bill has been proposed. This bill is deemed a lean bill as it's only about $500 billion, and it was proposed by some senators. This bill would include some of the following provisions: a $300 per week unemployment benefit extension, paycheck protection funding for small businesses, funding for health and education, $10 billion for the United States Postal Service. However, surprisingly, no stimulus check was part of this proposed bill. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who has been one of the key negotiators in the next stimulus package, has said recently, though, that the next stimulus package must include a $1,200 stimulus check. So while this bill was being proposed this week and is being talked about a lot, I don't think that this bill has any chance of passing. Both the House and the Senate have already said that they want $1,200 stimulus checks in the next stimulus proposal. So I don't think that this bill, the lean bill as they're calling it, would have a chance at passing both the House and the Senate. So I'm not going to spend much more time on it. But if there are any changes to that bill or that bill has a chance of passing, I will keep you up to date on it. So where are we at with the second stimulus check? Well, we know that the requirements for the second stimulus check included those on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits, and basically anyone that received the first stimulus check. Both the House plan and the Senate plan included $1,200 for individuals, while the House plan included $1,200 for those that were claimed as dependents, and that was up to 3 dependents on somebody's taxes, and the Senate plan included $500 for those claimed as dependents, but there was no limit on the number of dependents. So a family with 5 children would receive $500 for each of those children, in addition to the $1,200 for each of the parents. The second stimulus check is taking forever, and there are so many Americans, including myself and many others, that are so frustrated that Congress is taking so long. It is ridiculous that they have taken this long and that they still can't come to an agreement and get stimulus checks out to individuals. There are so many people that are just trying to figure out how to pay for the next month's rent or this month's rent and pay for food and pay for any of the basic necessities of life. Both sides want stimulus checks, so Congress, just get a deal done already. There are millions of Americans that are struggling and that need some sort of assistance, and these stimulus checks could help them out somewhat. Just figure out your differences and get a deal passed. For those of you that still have not received your first stimulus check, I know many of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or VA benefits have been waiting forever, and some of you still have not received your first stimulus check. If you have not, and you have not received an answer from the IRS as to why you haven't received your first stimulus check, you need to call the IRS at the Stimulus Hotline. That number is 1-800-919-9835. I have been continuing to ask you, if you haven't received your first stimulus check, to call the IRS. And I've been continuing to get comments from people that have been taking my advice and have called the IRS and have finally received either a payment date or an actual payment. Or some people have actually received an answer to their question as to why they haven't received it. If you have not received an answer to why you haven't received your first stimulus check and you haven't received your first stimulus check, you need to call the IRS. They're the only ones that can help you and get you the answer you need on your first stimulus check. I've been talking a lot about positivity and being positive in your life. I want to share an experience that happened with me recently. And a lot of what's been happening has not been positive, but I wanted to show you how I use the positive thinking and looking at the positive things to try and make a bad situation a little bit better. Over the past few weeks, my wife and I, we have lost a water heater that we had to replace for over $1,300. And then during one of the hottest parts of basically any August on record here in our state, we've been having over 110-degree days, and our air conditioning unit went out. So those two things went out, and we just replaced our air conditioner for about almost $4,000. So those two things happened over the past few weeks. Well, we went on vacation and had a great vacation at the Grand Canyon, and we had a good time with our kids. But when we got back, my wife's car battery died, and we couldn't start her car. So I was really frustrated and annoyed that just one more thing had happened and I couldn't believe it. And I was just like, I can't believe all of these things, are happening one week after another almost. And then I realized we just drove between 5 and 6 hours to the Grand Canyon each way, and the battery worked just fine. So I looked at that as the positive in this and said, look, that was an amazing blessing that our battery did not die while we were driving to the Grand Canyon in the middle of nowhere in crazy heat wave. So I looked at the positive and I said, okay, yes, I have this battery, I have to replace it, but it's really not a huge deal. And because I have another car, I was able to, get another battery and get it replaced. And her car is working just fine now. But I looked at that positive and said, okay, this battery could have died while we were on vacation, could have died, somewhere in between here and the Grand Canyon, and we would have been stranded and would have had to figure out, it would have been a much bigger issue. So I focused on the positive, and I focused on, it happened right after, it was like the day after we got home from our trip. So I was grateful for that. So anyway, focus on the positive. Look at those things that are going good in your life. Even, something is terrible. It wasn't that terrible, but the battery dying and my wife's car not working. I looked at, what were the positives of this? And it was, that it happened after we were home. So look at the positives in life. Make sure that you're trying to find the good in life, and make sure you're looking for opportunities to help other people that are in more need than you. Thank you once again for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive, and I will talk to you again soon.